my name is Joshua Judah and welcome to another exciting video in the world of video production, photography, media, and creativity as a whole. Welcome to this channel, guys, where you're gonna learn some inside information, some know-how that's really, I feel, is gonna add value to your skill set as a videographer, production, graphic design person, a creative person as a whole. Now, just straight off of the bat, if you've looked at our two previous videos, thank you very much. Please could you like, subscribe, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, interact with our videos. We'd really appreciate it. Leave any tips and tricks of your own, ask questions. We really appreciate your feedback, your comments, and you interacting with us on this channel. Now, I would say this, if you looked at our previous videos, there is probably one thing that you've noticed. We haven't really talked about any technical things yet. And yes, there is a method to my madness and there's a reason for that. The reason for that is as follows. Back in the day when I was wanting to be a rock star and learning how to play guitar and taking that challenge up in my life, as most young men do, with aspirations of, becoming this emo rocker, I had an amazing instructor. And our first lesson, he said, hold the strings like this, hold the things like that. And I was holding and playing. And he said, can I ask you a question? And I thought, okay, cool, ask me a question. And he said, have you played guitar before? Have you taught yourself any instruments, any things? I said, no, I haven't. And he said, that is great news. And I thought, wow, how's that great news? And as I was thinking it, the words were coming out of my mouth. And he said, because sometimes when you teach yourself, you pick up bad habits. And then when you go to a professional to start instructing you in that specific skill set, whether it's playing piano, painting, speaking, you now have to de-learn and sort of force yourself to get rid of those bad habits. Now on this channel, it's wonderful. We want to teach you about all the technical stuff. We want to teach you about all the other inside information types of tips and tricks that we've learned here through video production, through our experience. But one of the things that we also are a believer in is the ability to always wanting to learn, to ability to go online and to be able to access vast amount of information and teach yourself. But we don't merely just want to teach you how to do something. We also want to teach you how to do it the right way. We believe in great habit building here at Light Hill Studios and Light Hill Academy, and we believe that lays the foundation for many other things to be built on top of that will add value to your life. Now that said, let's get right into it. Now today we're talking about editing, and yes, I know today is not in a sense a technical video about editing. Yes, there might be one or two things that I'm going to drop into the hat, so to speak, talk to you about the video, but the main aim of today's video, and it's going to be in conjunction with the next video, today is going to be about, okay, now I've dumped my footage from my memory card onto my external hard drive. I'm ready to edit. I'm on fire. I just want to get working. And now I start to edit. Yes, if you're talking about editing in a sense that you're going to now arrange your footage, you have a pre-worked out workflow that makes you effective and efficient and a great editor, start editing. But if you don't do that, if you just start editing without considering where I place my footage, how my workflow is, then you might get into really bad habits that will make you an inefficient editor. Now, I would say my first reasoning for why you don't want to do that, when you're doing a really small project, like for example, this vlog is a very small project. Your footage is not a lot, your folders are not a lot, the assets that you're dealing with is not a lot. So they might be scattered all over your digital, your digital folder bin. And you can just access it in very cool and creative ways that Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro and DaVinci Resolve have given us to instantly be able to access your footage. I wouldn't do that because projects are going to get bigger. More files are going to be added and things are just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as you get better in editing. But I think one of the things that do really make you great at editing is if you go and you structure your folders in a certain way. Not only do you structure your folders in Premiere in a certain way, but you structure your folders, your project folders, also in a certain way. My second key or second reason why I would say it's important to do that is if something would happen to you, God forbid, you get sick, you get COVID again, Your mom's dogs get a baby, and or many babies. The cat gets babies, the pigeon gets babies, whatever gets babies. And you can't finish your editing project, and you've got to, give it to your best friend to finish it for you. Then at least it will be organized in such a way that it would make it easy for them to edit. Because today, collaboration is becoming a big part of the creative environment, creative process, and many people get to work on your project. So without further ado, we're going to hit the computer, and I'm going to show you how I structure my files within Premiere Pro and how I structure my files within I'm going to say Apple's Finder, for lack of a better word or a better way of doing that. Maybe you're on Windows and you're going to be using Explorer. It doesn't really matter what operating system you use. They use files and folders to structure the information and data, and so the same with the footage and assets within Premiere Pro. So let's go check that out. So guys, one of the key things that I think you need to learn, besides all the other habits that you're going to need to learn when it comes to editing with any new endeavor, is how to do it right from the start. Now, I think organizing your footage is essential for a couple of reasons. But I think for me, the most important reason is just so that I have more control and more flexibility over my edit while I'm working. The reason why I also like to organize my footage is I'm very organized. And if I'm dealing with a bigger project, I'm already in the habit of organizing my footage, because this project that I'm going to show you now is a small project. This is called, this was a small little product video that I did for the Classic Blade company. Now, just to show you on a folder or on a file level, Mac uses Finder, and I'm sure if you're doing this on a Windows machine, you'll be using I think it's not Explorer. It's this file system, if I can put it like that. I totally forgot what it was. It's now escaping my memory. I also organize my assets in a very, very specific way, an intentional way. So any files related to projects, files related to other software packages like After Effects, I name AE, Premiere, I name PR, Photoshop, I'll name PS, etc. So that I know when I'm digging into my project folder where is what at a glance. With my assets, I can also see, all right, here's my audio, there's my images, there is my motion graphic templates. So your motion graphic templates is actually these templates that you drop into your sequence, and then there's a specific file place that Adobe puts it locally. So I put it on the drive next to my project on planes and says, I can't find this file. Now you set that up really easily by going to a file on a Mac. You go to File, down to the bottom you go to Project Settings, Scratch Disk, and here you can set your motion graphic to the project file so that it travels wherever the project file goes. So when we look at it, and then video, there my video files are, and my video files is not necessarily, there are people that even organize it at this level. I do recommend, if you're going to be editing in something like After Effects, that you do it like that, especially if you're using different templates and you've not settled on a specific template. I am more inclined to even do it at that level. Now, guys, that is my files and folders on my actual machine, on the external hard drive. Going back to Premiere Pro is similar, except for the fact that my top level file is a project descriptor. So here I say Classic Blade Company Product Video Week 4. So I try to be as descriptive as what I can without writing a paragraph, just so that I know what this project is about, especially now because you can so easily open multiple projects within Premiere Pro, and we're gonna do that. Under my assets, I actually have sub folders. They are my AE comps. If you do dynamic link libraries, if you're dynamically linking to Audition or Photoshop or After Effects, I put them in their different folders. And then, of course, my audio with additional subfolders there, my images. These are images that I actually pulled out of Premiere. Now, normally I will have web or stock or raw or, any type of category where I can at a glance see, okay, this photo comes out of this photo. Is it a stock footage? Is it a whatever footage? Now, there are descriptors you can put here. So you can actually go find a, let me see if it's under basic. I think it could be, yep. I could actually put comment in there and I can go find it, and then I can pull I can actually write in there, and I can comment on different, I can leave comments or leave notes for myself. Actually, don't do it like that. That's a whole lot of work to do. So I like to keep it quick. I like to keep everything quick and efficient. So at a glance, I can look and see, okay, cool. This photo or this type of video is a stock video. It's a raw file video just by going to it in the folder. Now I can just right click there, for example, and I can go to reveal in project, and immediately I see, okay, this is under, okay, it's under that. It's not a stock video. So that's one of the reasons why I do that. Then my look and feel, I put my grade under my look and feel. As you can see, there's my grade. If I switch it on, off, I put that under look and feel. And then my sequence is also, if you collapse that, is also my master sequences. I have a specific workflow that I edit towards, and then any nested sequences. Under look and feel also, I'll put any transitions, any lens flares, anything that is not a video file that adds to the look and feel, the overall look and feel of my video. So I have these categories and things that I put everything in. Now, this is a relatively small project. Now, if you're a beginner editor, even that might be overwhelming for you. That is even why you should start with organizing your footage. You're starting somewhere, building into something. Next week, we're going to talk about workflow, and I'm going to take you from exporting your footage into dumping your footage on your machine, creating files and folders for your footage, for your projects file, how you pull that in, talk about an assembly cut, a first cut, a second cut, a final cut, a master cut, and getting all of that out. Now, I don't edit like that for each and every project that I do. Some projects don't require that type of editing in terms of just workflow, especially in terms of sequences. But yet again, it just helps me work quickly and more efficiently and more effectively. Now, the discipline in doing it with small projects like this becomes important when you have bigger projects like these. There's a project that I'm currently editing for a image consulting company. Now, if you go look at their files, they have 12 days worth of video footage, 12 days worth of audio footage. Not only is it a lot of footage for one single day, and there's 3 cameras that I use to record, it's also a lot of audio files that I have to use with that. And not only that, I've got to sync all of that, and then I've got to sync it in multicam sequences for the different speakers of the course. So let's go to day 3, all these multicam sequences, and then I've got to build those sequences into the syllabus that they have. They've got 3 main syllabuses. So then organizing your footage becomes super important. Then putting it all together and having a workflow and the way you organize your footage and your files becomes important. Now, you might say, Joshua, I'll just do it lackadaisically on small little projects, because we all want to get editing, we all want to be creative, and that is the fun part of editing. But when you only start to do that once you hit a big project, it's going to be very frustrating. You're going to revert back to your default, and your default is, I just put stuff everywhere because I'm under pressure, I've got to finish this. And this type of organization actually helps me when the pressure's on, when a lot of assets are being added, extra pictures, extra logos, When extra things are starting to be added, I know exactly where they need to go, where they live, even with functionality like reveal in project, reveal in Finder. I know where they live, and I know on which hard drive they live and where they stay. So when this footage goes, when I eventually give this back to the client, except for the scratch drive that I have, the client can actually open up this file and all of the assets is in one place. I can actually, if the client asks me, where will I find this picture? Then I can say, oh, okay, it's under assets, under images, under stock footage. That's the level of detail. That's how I know my project. So when it gets to bigger project, I'm not flabbergasted. I'm not frustrated. I know where everything is. On a final note, when you hand off this project, or when I hand off this project to somebody else because I couldn't complete it and they need to complete this project for whatever reason, they can look at the way I've edited, and it would be easy for them to assess where what is making their job easier so that the project can be finished and it's a lot of time, or just makes it easier for them to complete. So guys, those are my thoughts on organizing your footage. Obviously, you can organize your footage and your assets in which way works best for you. You don't have to use my way of doing it, but I would encourage you to start with this as quickly as possible. Even if you've been editing for 2 or 3 years, I would encourage you as well to be a person that organizes your footage, organizes your assets, because you're going to start working on bigger, better projects. And that also shows professionality. The clients sometimes sit right next to me. They're looking at this project file in Premiere Pro, and when they see everything is organized, everything is put in its proper place, it gives them a sense of peace. It gives them a sense of confidence in my ability as an editor. The optics look really well. All right, guys, as you can see from what I've shown you on my desktop computer, that I work in a very methodical way. And there's intentionality about how I work, how I edit, and how I structure my footage. Now, also, just to leave you with another bit of information is, clients can sometimes at a drop of a hat say, hey, can you take a screen grab of what happened in that scene? Or can you tell me what we did there and there and there? And when my footage is structured, it allows me, it gives me the freedom to be able to access it quickly, but it also gives me the freedom to know at any given point in time where set footage is. And on a whole, it just really strengthens my editing process. Now, in the next video that we're gonna do for you, we're gonna talk about editing workflow. Now, editing workflow is when you receive your assets and at the end of the day, when you deliver it, the whole process through that. They are done in, I think, 5 to 7 steps that I think is going to help you a lot. This is not data wrangling. What is data wrangling? It's physically where you go on a film set or a video production set, and somebody is recording the footage or recording the scene. The data card gets full, they give it to you, and you literally take that data card, you stick it into a computer, you copy it to a hard drive, and sometimes you have 6 or 7 or 8 of these cards to deal with, and that's just one session or one recording, because you have 5 or 6 or 7 cameras that's busy recording at the same time. That is something completely different. What I'm going to be talking about in my next video with workflow is how you do it all yourself, how you manage your data, and how you do it in a professional way that keeps you sane in your projects and keeps you an effective and creative editor. Guys, see you in the next video, and I hope you got a lot of value out of today.